Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the World of Wayne. Today, I've got a big box, a very big box in fact. We got pack 6 of the Agora models release and build Optimus Prime. Now the theme this week is definitely going to be big, and this makes no exception because there's something afoot in this box. As a matter of fact, there's 2 feet in this box. We're going to be doing Optimus Prime's feet today, and as you saw how big that box was against my head, you can only imagine how big these feet are going to be. So I don't think we need the rest of Optimus Prime, so I've left that down here at the moment because we are just making the feet, and we are going to be testing them with the electrics as well because they do contain some lights. Now, if you want to get this build for yourself, I have put the link on the screen to the Agora Models website. It's also in the video description there. You can scan your code and it will take you straight to that site as well. But let's get on with Optimus Prime. Without further ado, let's get cracking. Hi all, this is the future World of Wayne, coming from the future to discuss something that I discovered during this build, and I thought I'd insert myself at the front of this video because I'm going to be discussing something that I discuss at the end of the video when it came to light, so that at the beginning of the video I can warn you about it and you won't have a problem. Now, when you listen to the audio for this build, the build went absolutely perfect, just so you know. Everything is correct in the audio. But it's the things on the screen which are slightly different, and I need you to check your kit to make sure you don't make the same mistake I made. And I think it's very important to actually keep your mistakes in. So there's 2 kinds of screws. Actually, there's loads of screws, but the 2 kinds of screws that I'm more interested in are the PWN 2x6mm screws. Check your bag, they should be silver. You should have another bag which is PB 2.3x6mm screws. They should be black. Now, as you see on mine, I've got the PB 2.3x6mm screws in a silver bag, and I've got the PWM 2x6mm screws in a black bag. And of course, I've put all the screws in the wrong order. So I noticed that at the end, I had to take the whole thing apart and put it back together, even though it held together. But you know, my OCD plays up. But I thought if I address that at the beginning of the video and you are following along, the first thing you'll do is check your pack and make sure that you've got the right screws. So remember, PWM screws should be silver. The PB screws should be black. Hopefully that's going to help you out. So just to completely ignore what screws I'm putting in this video, even though I did change the audio just to make it a little bit easier for you. Hope that helps. It is funny how no sooner had I said we don't need anything from the past boxes. We do need the tester board here. Because as you can see, we do have some electrics in here that we're going to need to test. Now this build seems to have 3 trays per box. And as you can see, this is one tray here. This is the second tray looking like that. And then the third tray over here looks just like that here. Now before we start any of the build, we're going to need the tester box that we had from pack 1. We can detach this circuit board. We don't need this circuit board here. Just like that, put that to one side. We're also going to need the 2 lights that come in this pack as well, because we're going to test them. And to test them, we need this really big long wire here, which has got 3 pin plugs on each end of it. And if you bring over this tray just here and lift up this bit of armour, you'll find another circuit board underneath. So I can plug the power into this side, just like that. Plug one end of the 3-point plug into that side. And now we're going to be testing the lights by just plugging them into this point here. So this is one. That one comes on perfectly. And test the next one. That one's perfect as well. Excellent. So now we know that works. I can put that to one side and we can start the build. So the first thing we need, check this out. This is all metal. I love the colour of this. We're going to be starting to assemble the first foot. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching something over this section here. And that looks just like this. This is metal as well. And it just fits over the top like that. It actually fits lovely and smooth in there. It's held in with PWM 2x6mm screws, and we need 4 of those just in the holes here. So put all of these screws in oil. Let's get all 4 of these screws in place. They do kind of go in at an angle, as you can see. There you go. That's how that should look when it's in. Put that to one side. And I'm going to need the left panel here, which is plastic, and it should be stamped with an L just there. What we're going to do is put some lenses just in here. So I want a red lens on the top, a yellow lens on the bottom. So I've got the lenses here, and I'll put them in. That's the red one, and that's the yellow one. I've got a bracket to put behind it, and again, make sure it's stamped with an L. That's going to keep the lenses in place. So if it's over the top there on a lug, and we're going to need to put a screw in. We don't do that yet though, because now we have to put one of the lights in, which looks like this. Again, there's a small lug just on top of that section for the light to fit in, like that. Excellent. And I'm holding that in with PM 2.3 by 6mm screws. So 2 of these to put in. One just down the centre there. And the last one to actually hold this clip into place here. So now that's in. And you know me, I do want to just try it, see what it looks like. There you go, looking like that. Excellent. So, taking what we just created here, this is going to be fitting on the front of this section just like this. So I'm just slotting this into place so that it fits inside this little outer here. That will line up the holes perfectly there for some PWM times 2 times 6 wheels. Till it's a Monday, can't get my words out. So I'm making sure they're nice and tight in there. Remember, it's plastic though, don't go too tight, just enough to hold that into place like that. And now the foot is looking like that. I'll put that to one side and bring over this other fascia here, because we're just going to do exactly the same thing what we just done. So once again, I'm going to take the red and the yellow lens, put the red on the top, just the other way around this time, then the yellow. Then I'm going to put this little clamp in like that, take the lights and again line them up this way round. Perfect. Now it looks like we're making 2 feet at the same time here. So this is the left one I'm doing. I'm going to be doing exactly the same with the right one. So let's just bring over the 2 panels that we've got to put together again. I actually thought we were doing one at a time then, so shows what I know. And that's those 4 screws in place, and then we're just going to take the panel we've just created there. So we've got a right foot and we've got a left foot. Excellent. Put that to one side. Now, seeing as we're doing both things at the same time, I think that's how I'm going to do this now. I'm going to just take each part and work on them together. So I've got these yellow sections here with a screw hole in, which are going to go into each lug there, or each hole. The lug's going to go into the hole, which is going to line up the screw hole at the bottom there, like this. And I'm going to be securing them in with the 6mm black screws. Put those to one side. I then want this big metal bracket looking like that. I'm going to put that down because I've got a clamp to put on here. And that looks just like this here. That's just going to be going onto this section just here. Now this is the left one I'm doing. And we know that because in the other box, we've got the right hand side one. And they are stamped on top here. This one's got an L. This one's got an R. So in the same way, this is going to be going over like that. Now in here I've got PM 3 times 8mm screws, and I also need split washers. And I know we're going to be forever debating what these washers are actually called, but they're going to go in here. They've got hex heads, so I am going to use my wow stick to get these in. So I'll put that in there and let that... Oh, I think the batteries are running out. Oh, well, I can still use it as a Allen key screwdriver. And I'm going to put 4 in each side. It's quite funny making 2 things at the same time. Okay, on the left leg now, we're going to be putting this little bolt section in. It's going to be going in this way here, but it's going to be held in from the back screw here, just like this. Let me get this in. Like that, with exactly the same screws and split washers that I've just used. So there should be still one hole visible, as you can see there. Let's get this in. You probably noticed that these screws do have blue, it looks like paint on them. That's actually the thread lock. So once they're in, they shouldn't be coming out again. But I will be doing this on both of these brackets. And here's the last screw just going in on this side here. Excellent. So that's 2 of those done. I've then got this section looking just like this. Loads of metal. These feet are going to be really heavy. And we need to make sure that this is orientated correctly. Now, if you have a look inside this cavity, we've got one which is empty, one which has got this little piece here. It's this little piece here that I need facing towards me when I thread it onto this section here. So basically, this is going to be going this way round, and I'm slipping this over what we had there. And once again, I'm going to be putting a screw just inside here to hold that into place. It's just the same screws that we had last time. And it's only this side that I'm putting in first. Don't worry about that hole there yet. We do want to put it in both sides. And then I want to do the same on the other side here. So this time I want it orientated this way, probably best on the top camera, just like that. Excellent. So that's now looking like that. I'm just going to put those to one side for a second because we need this metal section now. Holding it this way round, I'm going to be putting one of these grills sections here this way round over the 2 lugs inside like that. Once I've got that, I'm going to be taking one of the legs. I'll use this one. That's going to go over the top there like that. And that's held in again with the PM 3x8mm screws with a split washer on them. So there you go. That's in place and it should look like that from the other side there. Excellent. So just do exactly the same with the other side. So again, we're going to be putting this piece over the top there like that. Putting this on top. I've already loaded the screws up and get this screwed in. And there we go. That's the second one done there. So we've got 2 of these really long cables here. So grab one of your feet and I want to thread this cable just through the hole so it comes out the bottom there like that. So that's one. And the other cable that I was using to do the test, just do exactly the same thing and thread it through the hole there. You want it so it's coming out the back like that, just to leave a short end here for a second. It can actually be a lot shorter than that. About that much there, I think is probably best. Now, going forward, I'm going to do just one foot because we mirror that on the exact same foot. But what we want to do first is we're going to be taking the base of the foot, which looks like this. Now, we need to make sure that this cutout section here is in the same direction as this side of the joint connector here. So when this goes in, just make sure the wire's going between these points. It's going to be going in just like this here. Push that in. And it's going to be resting over the points in the middle, held in, and I've already loaded these up with the 2.3 by 6mm screws here. Excellent. So that is the base of the foot in place there. Just put that to one side quickly because I've got the actual base of the foot now, which looks like that. And again, this is going to be mirrored exactly on the other foot as well. Take the grills, put them over the lugs, make sure the grills are facing down. So 1 and 2. Then we want to take what we've just created here, and this is going to be sitting on top of this section like this here. Just lining it up into place. Perfect. And again, 4 of the hex screws to keep that in place. And that's in place perfectly like that. Now, ensure you know what foot you're working on. If you're unsure, check that section there, and there's a stamp which is R. I want to bring over the foot which has got an R just on this section here. So this is the foot that's actually going to be going on top here. So best to turn it upside down, because the first thing we want to do is connect this cable up. So doing that now, this way around. Make sure the cable's all the way in there. Get rid of the slack in the cable so we can ensure that this is going to fit nice and flush into that point just there. Excellent. And you're going to have a good guess at what screw we're putting in here. It's again the 8mm screws with the split washers. Turn it back over. Coming together, isn't it? The last thing I need is just this back plate looking like this, and one of these sections that we created earlier on. This is just going to be going into these points here, like that. And that's held in with the 6mm silver screws. And that's the other side in, so now that's looking like that. And we want to make sure we don't trap the wire in here, because this is just going to be going over the top of this section here like this there. So the wire, as you can see, is coming out. And this time I'm securing this in with the 12mm screws, looking like this. Again, these are hex head screws, which do need split washers on them. So I'll get all 4 of these into place. So this is the very last screw just going into here now. Make sure that's nice and tight. And there you go. That is one of the finished feet. I've actually done the right hand side one. I think the instructions doing the left hand side one, but that's me. Let me show you how big this is compared to me. So that's my head. The foot is almost as big as my head. I mean, look, check that out. It looks all right, doesn't it? So I've got one more foot to create. So I think we'll do a speed up and see how long that takes. And there you go, that's the last foot completed. Let's get both of them up together so you can see what they look like. Just like that. They don't look that big when I'm showing them there, but when I show you them here, look at the size of them. They are really good, aren't they? Now I've got a question for you before we finish this up, and that is we had 2 lots of screws. In this bag I had 2.3 times 6mm screws which contained the silver screws. In this bag, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see here actually, I had the PWM 2 times 6mm screws. Now to me, I was looking at the threads on them. It seems like they should have been the other way round. I'm guessing the silver screws seem to go into the metal, and the PWM screws, which I had, which were those black screws, seem to be better off to go in the plastic. Now I've done it the way the instructions said, but tell me what you think if you are assembling this. Have I done it right? I've done it exactly like the instructions told me, but normally metal screws don't have the threads that those PWM screws had in mine. Or did I have the right screws? I don't know. Haven't got a clue. But it's gone together absolutely perfectly, as you can see. So I'm not complaining. I just thought I'd put that out there just in case it comes up in the comments. If you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link again down here to the Agora Models website. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.